Check, 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 check. What do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? All right, we got sound. We have audio. We have video. We have a scroll. Gee whiz. We have a lower third. We have, what do we have? We have chat. We constantly amaze. Constantly amaze. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's mute cell phone. Okay. And let's, yeah, we got about 10 minutes to showtime. And I thought I would include down here the latest release of the vMix 28 beta. .27 kind of makes me think that they might release .28 as their final release, and that would be 28.0.0.28. Hey, that would be pretty cool. It doesn't matter. But there are some interesting things. Like the resizable bar note that's going up right now. I checked that a little while ago, and yeah, sure enough, it shows up as resizable bar, and I like that. I think that's pretty cool. So we'll keep that. And the other change with that is that if you have a graphics card that's capable of having resizable bar, then the GPU memory will now accurately reflect, because it won't just be using the cache memory or whatever it used before in the graphics card. It'll have the entire available memory of the graphics card and tell you what percentage of that we're using. So normally I'm sitting at about 40, 50%. Right now I'm at 1% because I've got that new beta. The newest version of the beta. So you can get it too. And it's the way it should have been. It's the way it should have been. And I'm glad to see that it's caught up with that. Yep. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. And some new shortcuts. I'm sure somebody requested those replay shortcuts. And they're there. It's so much fun to live in a vMix world. Oh my gosh. Fixed an issue when changing or appending a replay input in a preset. Didn't realize that was a problem. But I'm glad it's fixed. Fixed for SRT multi-quarter dropping frames under heavy load. Didn't realize that was a problem, but I'm glad it's fixed. Maybe some of these fixes are not specific to vMix 28, or are they just improvements or problems that were in beta? Don't know. Don't know whether to say. Hello, Kim. Welcome. Glad to have you. Gothenburg, Sweden. All right, hold on a second here. Let's see where that is. Gothenburg. Ooh, pretty. Let's see. Let's go back to that picture. Can we go back to that picture? Yes, we can. Yeah, baby. Let's see. Save as desktop. Yep. So let's bring that in and show. Where's my images? So this is a quick image from Gothenburg, Sweden. How about that? How about that? Wow, that's really pretty. I like it. I guess that's a canal. Um, looks like a bridge down at the end of it. So yeah, very cool. Well, I wanted you to feel welcome. Yeah, yeah. Plus, that's really neat. Really neat. And there were some other good pictures too, but anybody can Google Gothenburg, Sweden. Oh, that's the town center. Aha. All right. Very good. Very good. Well, you have come to a town center today. Streaming Idiots. We're a town center. It's sort of a virtual town made up of people that are into live streaming. Primarily vMix folks, but we open our doors to just about anybody. We're not proud. Well, we are proud, but that's their story. Hello, Bill. Welcome. Glad to have you. You can't wait for this update? Well, why wait? Go get it today. It's on the vMix website. Actually, it's in the vMix forum. They've added a new forum to their forums. So it's on the vMix forums. It is the beta section. And you can just go to the very first post in that thread on the vMix 28 beta. And the download link is the same every time. They just reload it with an updated version. So it's, something, something vMix, something, something download, something, something 28 preview or something like that. But it doesn't have a dot extension like we've got dot 27 down here. It is available for download immediately as a beta. And their caution is don't use the beta for production, but a few of us, brave souls, brave or stupid, one or the other, have said we're going to use this from the very, very beginning. And the beauty of vMix is that their betas are pretty darn ready for production. It's just the little nitpicky little things that that they haven't been able to test in the lab. And that's why, of course, they're releasing it as a beta so that you can test it on your system and see what's acceptable, see what's working, see what's not working. And we'll be testing some of the beta today, some of the Telestrator. So Bill says, can't risk it, can't risk it. Well, the beauty is, and this has always been the case, and I don't think there's ever been a problem with it, you can download and install the beta right now, and then download the version 27 release, the final release, or at least the latest release of version 27, and install that right back over version 28. So you can bounce back and forth if you want to play with it and experiment with it, but not use it for any of your gigs. You can do that. So 27 for gigs, 28 for play. Maybe it works so well you forget to change it back. Oh my gosh. Hello, Martin. Welcome. Good to see you again. Love that icon. That's pretty sporty there. Pretty sporty. Yes, Telestrator function for sports. Yeah, and in working with it today and getting set up for this show, I realized, boy, it's a whole lot harder than I would have thought. And it requires, some coordination and some pre-planning and some changes in the workflow. But we'll get into that. So yeah, let's see what else we got. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got more tips around here than you know what to do with. But yeah. And this just comes from playing with it over the years. Trying to recall the other day, what vMix did I start with? I think it was 14, but it might have been 12. But it's nice to know that the software is continuing to get better with finer under the hood improvements, as well as, new features. So we're happy for that. We'll talk some more about that in the show. Hello, Ed. Can't keep his resolution for the year. That makes 7 years in a row. I like it. I like it. All right, well, let's get this show on the road, shall we? And yeah, we'll do that. We'll get started 25 seconds early. How about that? Yay, welcome. Welcome to another, I was going to say vMix Fun Time Live show, but I've never been on the vMix Fun Time Live show. I've only been on the Streaming Idiots show. Well, that's not true. I've been on other shows, but welcome to the Streaming Idiots show. And so glad to have you here today. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be kind of a workshop in some ways, maybe fraught with stepping into to potholes that I don't know exist. We'll see. But today we're going to talk about vMix 28, the new beta. It's been out for 2 months, so it's not that new, but they just released a new version of the beta 2 or 3 days ago. We were doing a scroll a few minutes ago. In fact, I'll go ahead and put the scroll back up there. Let's see if we can do that without creating too much of a ruckus. And the scroll basically is a list starting with a star of the new features that they've added, like the rebar. If rebar is enabled on your GPU, the GPU memory percentage will no longer be limited to just the GPU cache memory. It will include, I think, all the available memory. So whereas in my setup today, I'm running a, what am I running? I'm running a GeForce RTX 4070 Ti. Pretty beefy card, pretty big card, real wide card. Takes up like 3 slots, 3 1/10 slots, which means that 4th slot is almost not usable. And my GPU memory here on my machine went from like, normally 40 or 50% because I was using that much of the cache to right now it's at 1%. And I've got, a ton of graphics, a lot of videos stored, a bunch of titles, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, it's got good stuff. We'll let that roll for a little while. Today we're going to look at the Telestrator. We've done it before, but we're going to do it in a little bit more depth because I'm smarter now than I was the first time I reviewed it. And I've had a chance to play with it more in a way that it might be played with. Now, Alan was very kind to point out to me in the chat, in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. And if you're not a member of the Facebook group, we'd love to have you. Just go to Facebook and search for Streaming Idiots and you can join the group. You got to answer some questions, but everybody does that. And we'll let you right in. But Alan said, hey, remember that this feature is only available in the 4K Pro and Max versions of vMix. Now, vMix has several different tiers. For all practical purposes, vMix HD is the starting tier, and that's the one that I would say 75% of the world uses. But if you go up a step on that one to vMix 4K, you get 4K resolution, obviously, and you get some other features like instant replay and more vMix callers and things like that. And you can upgrade anytime you want. You just pay the difference in price. The next step up is vMix Pro, which is a permanent license, but vMix Max is a monthly subscription and is the same thing as vMix Pro. So with vMix Pro, you've got, I think, 8 camera replay and 8 vMix callers and a bunch of other features that aren't in other versions of vMix. So Pro is kind of the big boy. That's what we're using today, the Pro license. And so we'll be using the Telestrator on that. So the Telestrator is not available in the HD version. It is only available in the 4K and Pro versions. I guess I should say editions, because the number is the version, but the edition is what tier it is. Maybe I'll just say tiers in the future. Anyway, we'll figure it out. So the scroll is showing the vMix 27 beta, and this would be, well, I don't know that there's anything in this scroll. Well, the replay. So the replay would be, just for 4K or for Pro. So yeah, and the Telestrator is just for replay or Pro. So there's that. Okay, so we'll put that away for just a second. To do the Telestrator, let me get a screen capture here. We'll get a screen capture going. And yeah, and it's going to go off into infinity. So don't pay any attention to that window over there. It's going to go to infinity. But let's open up settings. And well, I'll just kind of move that up there so it's not as distracting for you. And there are a couple places that we need to look at. First off, we need to go to the web controller. Now, this is totally not intuitive. It would be nice if it said web controller / Telestrator, but the Telestrator is not a big part of it. So we're in the web controller, and the web controller can do, shortcuts, can do titles and tally and API and live LAN and the web controller itself. But they've also added the Telestrator to this list. You can see where my little cursor is right there. Yep. And we've added a checkbox for the Telestrator. And we've said, hey, Telestrator, your video source is going to be one of our 4 possible outputs. Now, output 1 typically is always typically 99.999% of the time. Output 1 is vMix output, that which is recorded and which is live streamed. So if we wanted to do it on the output, we would do that. But we've got a special, we've got a video set up today that we're going to pretend is a camera. So we're going to set that for output 2, which the video, and I'll show you in just a second how we've done that. And then of course we've checked Telestrator down here. And I think that's all we've needed to do here. And then over here on the outputs menu, we've changed output number 2 to be input number 87. And number 87 is our video. So we've got all that there, and pay no attention to all that other stuff. That's just stuff. All right, so we're in settings and we've got that. Oh, and let's go to shortcuts, because that's how Telestrator, check that. Telestrator also allows you to use shortcuts on the Telestrator screen. I think they're up to 10 or something like that, maybe 9, probably 10. So we'll go to shortcuts, and that's a bunch of my shortcuts, but really it's 2 down here at the bottom that we want to pay attention to. I've got a shortcut for the Telestrator that will do a cut. No matter where I am, it'll do a cut. Whatever's in preview will be cut. I've got the ability to do a play pause on input number 87. Now that's my video that's pretending it's a camera. So we're going to do a play pause on that one, because we're going to need to be able to do a play pause in order to run it back and forth. And the next one is to do a restart. So basically I'll have a video. I've just got a short, it's a long video, but I've just clipped out a piece of it. And I'm going to play it and then restart it and play it and restart it, or play it and pause it, restart it, play it and pause it, restart it. Anyway, you don't need to know all that. But what you do need to do, and we're going to go into the guts of this one right here, is you need to know that you have to come down here to the bottom and say show in Telestrator. You have to check that. And I think you also have to give it a title. Seems to me I bumped into that before, and I didn't remember whether it was a title or a description, so I filled in both those blanks. So show in Telestrator, title, description. That's kind of the new part of that. And so we've got 3 shortcuts there. And then the next thing is we have to, and I think I've already got it in here somewhere, we have to add a Telestrator. Yeah, here it is, number 85 right there. It's a Telestrator input. And it's just kind of clear. I'll right-click it and see it's got 2 commands there, but neither of which really matter right now. We're not going to worry about that. And that, well, we are going to worry about it because the Telestrator, this input number 85, gets overlaid over whatever our camera is. In this case, it's going to be number 87. So we'll look at number 87 here. We'll go into the settings for it and look at layers, and we'll see that I've added the Telestrator just as layer number 5. In case I needed to put something else above it or below it, I just popped it in at number 5. And it's blank, it's clear right now, so you can't really see that it's there. But trust me, it's there, I promise. Okay, so we've got that. And then let's see. Let's come back here for a second. And we're going to go to an over-the-shoulder look. So let's go over here for just a second. And this is over my shoulder. All right. Oh, golly, didn't mean to do that. There we go. We'll get that out of the way. So right up here is my screen. You can see, and I'm using mahogany, Martin. I like mahogany a whole lot. I'm using it today. And then down here is my Microsoft Surface Pro 6. Not 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11, or whatever the latest ones are. It's 6. It's practically worn out. But it will serve us today because, number 1, it's a touch screen. And number 2, it's attached to my network. And by being attached to my network, that means that I can get the web controller on this screen. So let's go ahead and pull that up. And let's just pretend like I didn't have that there. So let's add a blank input. And I want to put in the web controller information. Now, the way I got the web controller information from, let me switch back to the desktop for just a second. We'll go back to settings. We'll go back to web controller. And this address right here is the address for the web controller. So we'll take that address and we'll put it into our laptop down here, which I already have it in. I've kind of cheated, but let's go ahead and just pretend like I hadn't cheated. Get that out of the way. 192, and so that'll take us 192.168.1.114:8088, and that's going to take us to the web controller. Now you notice the web controller, I didn't realize this until maybe several weeks ago, but the web controller now can do live video. How cool is that? And each one of these is a shortcut, so I can actually use this as a little multi-view right here. So I could switch to my main output just by hitting that guy. And there, bam, I am. Can't get back. I'm sunk once I get there. But let's just do a cut. We'll get the right mouse here. We'll go back. There we are. There we are. Now we're back to normal. And so I've got all these shortcuts that are available to me, and I've got the other options in the web controller. I've got titles and the live LAN and the tally lights and things like that. But what I'm interested in, let me get it where you can see it more easily. You probably still can't see it, but it's the last one on this list. It's a yellow box with a little squiggly in it with somebody's finger, the right hand of somebody's finger. And so we're going to touch that with the right hand of my finger, and that's going to take us to the Telestrator. Now the Telestrator, as you recall, can I maybe get this up a little bit so it has less glare in it? There we go. And let's get that out of the way. The Telestrator, as you recall, we told in settings, we said, hey, take output number 87 and send that to output 2. Input number 87 goes to output 2. Output 2 goes to the Telestrator. Well, there we are. That's our background screen in this. It could be anything. We can change it to something else if you like in a minute. But we've got basically, let me get out of the way here. We've got the ability to have color. We can change a font size. We can do squigglies. We can do squares, circles, pictures, numbers, a laser pointer, and then kind of an undo button and an erase all button. And I don't remember what that button is, maybe full screen, something like that. And then we can change the latency from normal to low. We can turn the video off and on. We can turn drawing off and on. And then that bottom column there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 it is, 10. Those are my shortcuts. And those are the shortcuts that I made in vMix. I'm only using 3 of them, remember. I'm using a cut and a play pause and a restart. So I can, well, let's just play something and see if it'll go. So we're going to scroll down to play pause, or actually this is a touch screen, so I can touch play pause. And let's see, let me go back over here to the big machine. And yeah, you know, I was having problems with this earlier. How can I show it to you? Well, I can show it to you right here. Right there, put it in preview. There we go. In preview, it's playing. When I hit play pause right here, it stops, but this screen doesn't change. And I'm thinking it's my Wi-Fi, but I've actually put in a note on the forums under the betas to see if anybody's got an answer for that. It works, but it doesn't tell me that it's working here, right here. So we'll do play again. We'll see that our play stops. We can stop the play. We can restart it. It goes back to our starting point, but our screen here didn't change. Now I can refresh this, basically do a restart on that page. And now it goes back to the scene that we want, this scene right up here. You can see that where the referee is there. He's in that same position right there. So can I get, there we go. That's a little bit better maybe. So, oh yeah, it looks like I drew on the referee's rear end, and we can see that it also appeared up here. So let's try to use the trash can button, and that made it disappear here. Oh, and it did finally disappear on our screen. I'm going to change the yellow to red. So I'm just going to click it, and then I'm just going to drag that guy down to where the red is 255, and the green is 0, and the blue is 0. And then I'm just going to make that menu go away by clicking over here, just somewhere else. So I've got squigglies on, and I've got red color. Squigglies means that I can draw on the screen. And so as I draw on the screen, you can see, and actually I think 8 is the thickness, isn't it? Let's go for a 20 and see if that changes our thickness. Yeah. So we've got all that ability to change, and I'm going to leave it thick so you can see it more easily. Now we're going to do trash can. Hey, and it went away. Okay, good. So maybe we're communicating now. So what I'm going to say is my illustration. Here's the guy with the ball right here. And this guy right here is going to move into this position right here and set up a pick. And then once he picks, he's going to roll back down into the center. So we'll start this and see. Yeah, we don't see it on this screen, but we do see it on that screen. He does exactly what I said he did. And I should probably go ahead and take that off pretty quickly. So let's pause that. We'll restart it. And let me go ahead and put that screen, the output, here so that you can see it. So let's pause it. Let's restart it. And we'll go ahead and do our graphic again, which says, all right, here's the guy with the ball. This guy right here is going to come set a pick, and then he's going to roll back into the center. And for some reason, that's important. So we're going to do that. We're going to get rid of all that stuff. And yeah, that's kind of almost what he did. Let's try it again. I think red is a good color, but you tell me. We can try other colors just to have fun. We can do a blue. We got blue there. Okay. So our white guy's going to come here, set a pick, and he's going to roll back in here, either looking for a pass or a rebound. So there we go. We're going to play it, get that out of the way. And now he's in it. Well, actually, he got blocked out by a smaller kid, but that's neither here nor there. Other choices we have is we can simply say, okay, you know, this guy, number one, that's the guy we're interested in. And then over here, number two, we're interested in. So now that we're talking about them, whoops, what did we do there? Did we get rid of something by accident? Yeah, there we go. I hit the full screen button. There we go. So we want to get rid of those guys. We'll go ahead and set up our drawing now. Nope. Okay, let me show you what I did so you know why it didn't work. Here in Telestrator, let's get that off the screen for a second. I had selected the incremental numerals. So we can go, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can scroll them and make them large or make them really small, sort of small, and I can erase them. And right next to the erase button over here is the full screen button, which says full screen. So yeah, so that's what I did. I went full screen and then I panicked because I didn't know what else. And I had left it on the 1 right here. This was our selected. Come on, pause. Doesn't want to pause. Yeah, this is a problem I ran into earlier. I think it's probably a network issue. Anyway, okay. So we're going to go back from the numbers to the squigglies, and let's change to sort of a purple and see how that does. So this guy's going to come out here, and then he's going to roll back in. He kind of get mixed in right there, and then he loses position is what happens. So let's go ahead and play that. Now I can't, there, had to click trash can twice. And then we'll pause it and restart it. But you see, this screen never moved. So not sure what the issue is there. Probably a network issue. Now there is an option for latency as normal or latency as low. So we're going to shift over to low latency here and see if that makes any difference. And let's go ahead and change back. Let's be bright green for a second. Something really obnoxious. So our guy here is going to come set a pick here. He's going to peel off. He's going to get caught in traffic, and he's not going to be in a position to make the rebound. That's really the story right there. So let's play that. We'll clear the screen. And he got blocked out. All right. So as we can see down here, nothing changed. Nothing changed. Unfortunate. Now, I wonder if I was hooked in Ethernet, if that would make a difference. Hold tight just a second. I'll be right back, but hold tight. And I'm going to plug in hardwired and see if that makes any difference. I think I have a USB to Ethernet adapter here. Let's see. Got lots of adapters. One more pocket to check. I'm doing that authentic kind of crinkle there so that you can hear that I really am looking for something. All right, come on, guys. It's what happens when you have too much stuff, because you want to have a little of something else around should you need it. And this one apparently is found its way into somebody else's gearbox. Maybe I loaned it out. Don't know. Okay. Well, that answers that question. Can't do that. Can't do that. Sorry about that. And believe it or not, I don't have another PC here in the studio to try it on. Huh. Oh, well, oh, I do have. Let's try it on the phone. So let's go to Chrome. We'll go to 192. There it is. Came. Oops. Sorry. Try again. 1192. Yeah, and it came right up. So let's go to shortcuts, and let's go to Telestrator, and we'll see. Yeah, it didn't really make much difference in the size of the screen. So we can, let's draw on it. This guy's going to come here, and then he's going to peel off. He's going to get lost in traffic back there. And so play. And while we're playing, we'll clear the screen. Yeah, this is working much better for some reason. Stop, restart. We'll change the color. And look, this has got a different way of doing color on the phone. I like this better. Let's do blue. And we'll hit the X key. So now we're in blue. And so we're going to say our guy's going to come up here, make a pick. He's going to roll in, but he's going to get caught in traffic and pushed way out of bounds. And then I got to get this guy off the screen. There we go. And he gets pushed out of bounds, just like I said he did. Okay, that's great. But for some reason, we're not getting that same kind of action here. He's going to come up here. He's going to pick. Then he's going to get kicked out of bounds right there and be totally ineffective. So let's play it. Boom. Yep, it's happening up there, but it's not happening down here. Now, the writing did go away, but the video did not. And we're on low latency here. It doesn't seem to matter which latency we pick. And our Wi-Fi is, you know, 100%. Maybe we're too close to the Wi-Fi. Let's move it to the other side of the studio. Take it off the power for just a second, and we'll put you guys here, and we're going to pause that. We're going to restart it, and let me walk over about 20 feet away from Wi-Fi. Maybe I was just too close to the Wi-Fi. So we're going to take this guy, we're going to bring him here, we're going to peel him off, but he's going to get pushed out of bounds over there and become really ineffective. Play. Nope, no difference here. No difference. So something has to happen. I don't know what has to happen. Now, the laptop, the Surface Pro, if we go back to the, how do we get back to the other screen? I don't guess we can get back to the other screen, can we? We just have to put in the address again. 192, there we go. These all seem to function okay. I mean, you know, I can play. There you go. There's a sound for you. And I can cut to other cameras. Got lots of choices there. But, and we'll go back to this screen again. Let's see, where are we? Right there. We got to make an output for that one. But that doesn't get it. Let's see, now that we've done that, if we go back here, is it going to work better? If we play it, make it move? No, not moving. Not moving. Let's pause it. We bring the game footage back up here again. There we go. So the shortcuts are working, and everything is doing everything it should, except it's not showing us what's going on in our video. I wonder if it would do the same thing in a camera. Let's change in vMix what the output is going to be. Let's make it this little window right here. So we'll go to the web controller and we'll say it's output 2. Okay, and output 2 is now going to be input. Which one is this? I think this is number 2. Let's just see. So we'll say it's, oh, that was, I think I said that was mix 2. Let's don't do that. Output is input 2. There we go. We can see that this guy did change. And what is our input 2? Input 2 is this screen. Okay, so let's refresh. There we go. And now we're getting live video. So it's working for live video, but it wasn't working for recorded video. Let's clear this guy off. Let's say that Tom is going to take his mouse and he's going to put it over here. And then he's going to look up here. And so we don't have a play pause because obviously, well, I guess we could play it. Yeah, we could make it play. You can see it playing right up here, right up here, right up there, actually. And we can clean all the screen off. So it does appear, yeah. And our latency, let's turn latency to low. And we've got a little bit of a freeze frame here. So we've frozen down there. Have we saturated the network with video? Is this too much? We'll pause that, make it restart. It did, but we're not live here. So we've lost the ability to do what we need to do here. And this is probably a pretty real world situation. I mean, we're not going to have a big PC that we're going to want to use this on. We're going to want to do it on a handheld, or in this case, it's really a tablet. It's not really a laptop. It's a tablet. I don't have a laptop to test it on, but yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that you find out with betas. This is the stuff you find out with betas. Anyway, really like the Telestrator. Obviously, we've got let's just refresh that for a second. See what happens. And now we've got video again. So is this going to stay, or am I going to draw something and then it's going to be an issue? And then I'm going to do something. I'm going to execute a shortcut. And then I'm going to tell it to restart up here. And then I'm going to clean it off. And we see now we've got some lag. And now we're frozen. Unless I could put myself in the same position again. But yeah, no, it's frozen. But we can still draw on the screen, and it still happens up here. You can see that. Let's change it to red so it's easier to see. We can see that we're still drawing on the screen, and we're still erasing the screen, and our shortcuts still work. But it's the video here that has frozen. You know, maybe there's a way to do fewer frames per second or lower resolution, something that doesn't require as much bandwidth. Obviously, with the phone, it was a lower resolution because it's a much smaller picture, and it's there. You know, we're getting all of it. The picture doesn't get any bigger as we change the aspect, as we change the focus of this, and we're still able to draw on the screen. And it happens on that one too. So let's see, we got to make the trash can bigger. The shortcuts are bigger here. But the controls are not. So it might be a little tricky to do this one. I mean, here's the camera, the phone, and I'm going to move it over here, and then I'm going to erase that. But it would have been too easy to hit one of the other buttons with that. Maybe they could space out a little differently somehow here. That would be good. All right. All right. Well, what did we learn? What did we learn? What did we learn? A beta is a beta. A beta is, in this case, pretty darn good and works under some circumstances and doesn't work under other circumstances. This phone is connected to the network here. So it's doing Wi-Fi. In fact, it's still doing Wi-Fi. whatever this camera behind me is showing, it's showing here on the phone with not much latency. And I'm gonna switch it back to normal. And we'll turn it back to low latency. So how is our latency? Yeah, maybe a couple frames. We'll go back to normal latency. About the same. About the same. Okay, we'll turn that off. And we'll come back to it. So, hey, what do you think? I'm pretty darn impressed. I mean, other than the fact that some of it didn't work. Well, let's go over to the pre-show now, and we'll come back. I want to see your thoughts. Hang around. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Ken is watching from California. Ken, I hope you're out of the way of the fires. Those look pretty nasty. And New Jersey pool player, Happy New Year. Back at you, for sure. Martin says, I don't think pause and restart. I think pause and restart won't work with camera inputs. Right. And that was just my way of trying to get to you guys. Well, actually, the question would be, will they work with replay inputs? Because it really is the replay that we're showing. So let's see if we can set that up real quick. Let's see. Okay, so let me give you a screen capture here. Well, let's go there. There we go. So we'll give you a screen capture. And then we're going to add an input. It's going to be an instant replay input. And it's going to have input number 2. Output 2 is camera 2. And I'll leave my main camera here as camera 1. And is that going to be enough? Let's see. Is that going to take? Yeah, there we go. There we go. And what you didn't see is over to my left, my other screen that I can show you because I have a camera. My other screen, let's see, can we scroll over there a little bit? Yep, my other screen is now the replay interface. So I like it. I like it full screen. It gives me at least the appearance of control, and I know what I'm doing. So you get to see the back of my head. But let's go back to, well, let's just go back here. We'll go back there. So we've got replay. Let's turn it on, get some cameras going, get some replay going, and let's do a 5-second clip. There we go, 5-second clip. So we're going to take replay A, which is number 90, and we're going to overlay the Telestrator on that. So let's go to layers, and the Telestrator is number 85, I think. Yep, number 85, there we go. And we're going to change number 90 to be our output source. So output here is going to be 90, because that's going to be not a camera, but it's going to be whatever's coming out of replay. So as we look on the phone, we'll do it on the phone because that's the easiest way to do it right now, and probably the one with the most likelihood of success. We'll go back there to this, and can we refresh it? Well, let's restart it. There we go. And it's still showing the old input. What input is that? Number 2, number 1. Well, let's go here and see if anything changes. Nope, except that, which is annoying. Let's turn that off. Bear with me just a second. Turn that trigger off. All right, so we got the phone here. It's showing that screen. Let's just refresh the Telestrator totally. So 1, 9, 2, and then we'll go there. And we'll go to the Telestrator, and it's still showing the old screen. Huh. So let's make sure I did that right. So we'll go web controller. We'll pull that up here. That's right. Output 2. Telestrator's on. Telestrator's on. Video quality. Oh, I guess I could do a lower quality, couldn't I? Yeah, let's do a lower quality. That might fix some of the problems here. Let's go there. And then we'll make sure that output 2 is now input 90. Output 2 is input 90. Okay. Got that. So there's 90 right there. And it looks like we've got some, I don't know if you can see right there. We've got some writing on there because we've got some writing in the Telestrator. Let's go back to the laptop now that we've reduced the bit rate of whatever we're being sent over. I've turned that back on. Oh, there we go. That was pretty quick. And let's get fresh page, 192, 192. There we go, 88. We'll go to Telestrator. And it still has that image. Huh. But I can still draw on the screen. Oh, it has that image because that's what's in replay. Duh. All right, never mind. I'm just an idiot. So let's change over to, we need 87. Oh, we did output 2 twice. That's the problem. All right. Pay no attention to this guy behind the curtain. He doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. We're going to make it output 3. Thank you very much. Output 3 is going to be input 87. I'm with you now. Output 3 is input 87. And so now we'll have something that's different. Turn that on. We're good. And now let's do some recording and go ahead and make that play. And we'll clean all this off. There we go. And did we change our, yeah, output 3. There we go. That's what we want. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Let's do some recording. We'll go to camera 2. or camera 1, which is it? Camera 2. Why are we getting that clip right there? Because that's input 2, and that's frozen. Let's go back here. Output 3. Sorry. Output 3. Output 3 is input 87. And input 87 is this one right here. That's input 87. Okay. So let's go back. We'll just go back to this shot for a second so you can kind of see both screens. And we'll start. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's see. Let's put that on a loop. So now that's moving around. That's camera 2. And so let's do another replay. We'll do another 5-second. Boom. And we'll play it. Now it's playing in the replay screen, which should be, if we refresh this, let's see if we come back to where we should be. Yeah, there we go. So now we're getting the live video here in the Telestrator. You can see the resolution is really degraded, but bandwidth-wise, we seem to be doing okay. Oh, it just froze. So it's going to be a little behind. Our replay is still playing, and we can come into it, and let's go ahead and make some changes to it. And we can see that our changes now do show up in our output. So let's erase those. And we'll erase them again. Oh, I know what's happening. Let's go to live. So this is our live game right here. And we're going to make a 20-second clip. And let's play that. Boom, there we go. Now we've got the ability to draw on our 20-second clip. We can change camera angles in that 20-second clip and say, no, we don't want that all over his face. We just want him to have bunny ears. But I don't have any video here. My video's going away again. Let's refresh that. And let's take the bunny ears off. And we're back to a live game. Let's make another 20-second clip. And we'll take output 3 as our camera, which is camera 3. And we're going to play that. Clear all that stuff off. Come on, clear it off. Well, obviously, it's going to take some work. Got to take some work. So this is going to be the kind of thing that you are definitely going to want to try and get pretty expert with before you bring it to any sort of major production. Yeah, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be fun. No doubt about it. Going to be fun. Let's close out replay for just a second. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Be a shorty. Just now seeing you. Thanks for coming. Martin was giving me assistance to which I was not paying any attention. My apologies, Martin. Jesper's here. Welcome. Glad to do it. All right. Ed is asking, how will this work with a PPT? You mean a PowerPoint? Or you mean a PTZ? I don't think you can type on that screen. I don't think that's one of your options. Letters. I think it's all visual in the sense of drawing or predefined images, either that you've loaded or that vMix has with it. Michael, but late is still here. Okay. Yes, I agree, Biz Shorty. I was able to use it on my phone with no issues. But that's the idea with a beta, is that you get to use it in a way that you might use it. I get to use it in a way that I might use it. They're different. One of them works and one of them doesn't. And I even went in and reduced the bit rate, I guess, that a video that it was pushing down to the lowest. And it still wasn't low enough for this particular application for me. So yeah. So Gunner's in the house. Glad to have you. In my scenario, the restart allowed me just to move the video back to the point where the guy had the ball at the top of the key. So yeah. Well, if you have to pay for it, it doesn't matter when you do it. If you don't have to pay for it, it doesn't matter when you do it. Yeah, I just like being up to the latest, greatest stuff. All right, Martin says it's in beta stadium, so not usable for sports production at the moment. I probably wouldn't count on the Telestrator until I'd found a selection of hardware, including phones, that would work consistently. Now you're doing curling, so I'm assuming you're talking about curling. Perhaps you're talking about a different sport. Don't know that I would think replay is pretty cool in curling, and a Telestrator might be very handy, and in fact might be very usable, especially because curling is not as fast as basketball in that sense. Anyway, Jeep and Dave, always going to bring something to the table. Hello, Michael Q. It almost looks as good as the old Telestrator. Yeah, but price-wise, it's free if you already own Pro or 4K, that is. Yep. Thank you, sir. Yep, I come from a long line of full-headed people. Oh, the Woody look. Michael, this is actually the 2024 April Fool's joke from vMix, which was this new skin. And it came out it was intended as a joke, and I liked it. I mean, and the transition buttons right in the middle of the screen are hand-stitched leather. I mean, is that cool? It is. Here's what Ed was saying. Okay. I wonder if making transitions between pages of a PowerPoint will cause it to freeze. I don't think it's the quality of the image that's being sent, Ed. I think in my case, it was the quality of the network connection between the sending PC, the vMix PC, and the receiving PC, the Telestrator PC. So that was the thing. I think for PowerPoint, it'd be fine and dandy. So if you want to draw on a PowerPoint, I mean, try it. I mean, here it worked with my phone, but not with my Surface. Would it work better with a conventional laptop? I think it would definitely work better with something that was hooked into Ethernet. And if you're at a venue doing basketball, you're probably not going to be any Wi-Fi that you pick up there is probably not going to be your network, although I guess it might. I would want to hardwire. I think that's the professional way to do it, is hardwire it. Hardwire it. Yep. All right, Martin says, commentator should be able to press snap, then draw. If finished drawing, press clear, and the output is live again. I think that's the purpose of the 10 shortcuts available in the Telestrator, so that you can tell vMix whatever you want to do. If you want to pause a video and be able to draw on it, and then and so maybe there would be a button, a shortcut that would have two functions. One would be to clear the Telestrator, and the other would be to go back to the live output. So yeah, we'll have to see if they come up with some shortcuts that that impact what's going on in the Telestrator. Let's see if they have. Let's go to here and we'll pull up the features and we'll say search for Telestrator. There we go. Did I yeah, that's right. Okay, so that worked. Okay, Telestrator 23. Telestrator. I guess I should have read this before. Check rock Telestrator, video feed, adding Telestrator input, done all that. Telestrator toolbar, Telestrator images, Telestrator shortcut buttons, shortcuts. Let's see over here. See web controller, tell us how to add a shortcut. And Telestrator is mentioned down here. Show the shortcut in Telestrator shortcut buttons. Yeah, that's there. And web controller shows Telestrator. So it looks like at this point, there aren't any shortcuts for the Telestrator. I mean, that are Telestrator related kind of shortcuts. So yeah, so good feature request. All right, Ed says his PowerPoints are usually schematics and drawings. And we would add arrows and lines more than text. Yes, gotcha. What about arrows? Does the Telestrator have arrows? Is that one of the... No. The Telestrator only has user-controlled drawing, but no flat lines, I mean no straight lines, and no lines that are ended with an arrow. So you could do your own, but it wouldn't be the same as having one that was pre-configured as an arrow. That would be a good feature request too. Glad I updated my 2 licenses to Pro version under a year ago. There you go. There you go. And Tommy is here. Hand-stitched leather. It is. Is it fine Corinthian leather? No, it looks like cheap Australian leather. It looks like kangaroo leather. Oh, Eric is in the house. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. Yes, indeedy. It is, it's, you know, it's typical Tom stuff. Basically, how can we break this? It was interesting after we did the vMix reference system, Obtainium, which is their new Xeon-based system. You can check it on their website if you don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, they list all the piece parts that they used in making an Obtainium system that will handle, you know, what was it, 6 4K cameras in replay. So pretty beefy system. I mean, 4K cameras in replay, 4K 60. And the motherboard that they spec'd in that one from Gigabyte was unobtainium. It was not available anywhere except directly from China. And so, you know, I made a criticism of that on the show, that it was, you know, great specs, but, you know, it doesn't make any difference if it's unobtainium. And I got an email from vMix, from Tim, saying, hey, you know, when we put these together, these were available, you know, hopefully it'll be available soon. And we'll see. Actually, that the motherboard is available now. The Gigabyte motherboard is available from Newegg. It's about just under $800 for the motherboard, and I think the Xeon chip is, you know, $1,500. So it's not something you're going to start out live streaming your high school football team twice a month. Yeah. Well, Martin, that's what I live for. You know that. I'm just glad to have you on board. Glad to have you here. All right, Eric is coming to us with 2 different monikers here. He said, I'm looking at using the Asus W790, you mean a Z790 Sage SE motherboard. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, make sure it's got enough slots for you. The I think the Z790P has 1, 2, 3, 4 X16 slots, although one of them gets blocked by the video card, and I think it has a 1X slot in it too. So it's you know, just double check that. I think it has a lot of M.2 options though. Yep. So yeah, Eric, Tommy's just right up the road for you. How about that? Yes, US dollars. I'm saying parts wise, it's gonna run you between $7,000 and $8,000 just to buy the parts. A system from us, depending on how it's configured, will run, you know, 10 to 14. Something like that would be ideal for a, you know, say a 16 camera, 16 HD camera setup with replay, I think. I want to check that a little better. So you're talking about a couple of Blackmagic DeckLink Quad 2 cards, $1,000 a pop, plus the adapter cables that go with them. There's another 120 bucks. But yeah, yeah. Yes, get updated. Get updated. Eric, if you visit Tommy, you got to run the chickens off first. It's the W790E Sage. Okay, sorry, I don't know about that one. I'll have to look it up. But what is the brand on that one? Oh, you said Asus. Okay, yeah. We use primarily Asus boards here, unless it's something we just can't find in the Asus line. I found Asus generally to be very reliable. If I ever have a problem, there's no problem getting it replaced. And for somebody in my position, that's really, really important, because if you buy a system from me and there's a problem with it, you know, I want to get that problem rectified ASAP. So, you know, for example, I've got one coming in next week that has an intermittent issue that we just weren't able to solve remotely. And I said, you know, bring it back here and let me sit on top of it and see how I can break it. But if there's a problem with the motherboard, for example, well, number one, we've got them all in stock. But number two, if I have to have if I have to take something out of stock to put in a machine under warranty, I'll send the old board back to Asus and get them to replace it. And so far, I get from Asus, I'm getting brand new gear. They're not sending me back a repaired board, so I like that. let's see. Eric's price for the Asus will be about 11 grand. Is the W790 Sage a workstation board, Eric? Well, I can look that up myself. Let's do that. ASUS W790 Sage SE. Well, that's pretty pricey. Looks like $1,000 just for the motherboard. But give me a picture. Well, let's just look at the specs. Ah, it's a Xeon motherboard. Okay. With the W790 chipset. So, yeah. Oh, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about PCIe lanes on that, PCIe slots on that one, nor do you have to worry about lanes. Looks like it's got seven slots. What was the other things that that they thought were important? Has 3 M.2 slots. Yeah, that looks like a nice board. It does. It's got dual 10 gig Ethernet jacks and a 1 gig. Good. Got a bunch of USB ports. I like it. I like it. Very nice. Very nice, Eric. Good choice. What would you guys prefer? 1 Obtainium or 2 lesser systems working in tandem? Michael, you fell into the hole we all fall into. Do I need a pickup truck or do I need an 18-wheeler? Well, Tom, it all depends on what you're going to haul in that truck. Michael, what are you going to do with your systems? Is this for replay? How many cameras? How many of those are NDI? Those are my questions. Yeah, it depends. It depends. It also depends on how many steps you have to carry that thing up in your sports venue. You know, if you've got 22 flights of steps, I want the lightest system I can get. Let's see. Eric's going to use the 3435. Ooh, don't know anything about it, but it sounds expensive. Let's see if we can find out. It is, oh, that's not bad. It's only 1,700. 3435, yeah. And it has 16 cores running at Turbo Boost 4.7 gigahertz. It has all performance cores, none of those E cores. How do you rate an E core? If the general rule of thumb, and it probably doesn't apply on this Xeon card, but as the general rule of thumb, as Heath said on the vMix Funtime live show last time, if the general rule of thumb is on NDI that you have 1 core of your CPU dedicated to each NDI source. So if I've got 3 NDI cameras, I need, 3 cores dedicated to that NDI source from my CPU, and then I need a handful, he was non-specific, a handful of NDI cores for general processing. So let's say if I've got 16 NDI sources, This is 16 cores. It doesn't sound like it's enough, unless it's got something else. Well, Eric, how many cameras are you going to use? Are any of them NDIs? There's the question. And here's the answer. There you go. There's the answer. We'll call you after the show. All right, so Michael Quist says 4 cams, all NDI, replay involved on 2 cams, NDI to commentators for Telestrator, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think the Telestrator does NDI, does it? Is it using NDI for that? I have an OB8 van, fiber network, so no taking systems up the stairs. For now, I've gone for redundancy. I would, for 2 cams, unless you're doing 4K 60, Michael, and on replay. But I would hold off. And one of the reasons I would hold off is because the new, although this doesn't affect NDI, it does affect SDI and 4K if you're doing, HDMI or SDI 12G. The new NVIDIA cards that are coming out, the 5000 series, I think the base card is the 5070. Supposedly the 5070 is going to be more powerful. I haven't checked CUDA cores, but this is just what I gleaned from the NDI, from the NVIDIA presentation the other day, Monday. The 5070 will be as powerful as the 4090. So the 4000 series, the RTX 4000 series high-end card, the 4090, will be the equivalent of the 5000 series 4070 and the 5070. And the 5090 will be twice as powerful as the 4090. So, wow. .7 clock speed doesn't sound like very much. Well, depends on how much you need, Tommy. You need an 18-wheeler or you need a pickup truck. Have processors reached a wall? No, actually, frankly, I think the speed in processors has been going up nicely. I mean, not in terms of overclocking, but just in terms of stock. You can buy CPUs now that routinely will do 5 gigahertz, excuse me. But I can remember years ago, overclocking one, and I was happy to get 2.5. So yeah. Maybe that although the Telestrator is only sending the screen. I mean, it's only sending the whatever we write on it, whatever we put on it is all it's sending. It's not sending back the video or anything like that. So I think from the Telestrator to the vMix PC, it's pretty lightweight. From the vMix PC to the Telestrator system, yeah, maybe it was NDI was eating up my, but I just can't believe that. I think there's something else going on. Yep. Yeah, I think Moore's law has been not working as well as we would like to. Oh, but Michael says it still works. So Tommy, let's wait 18 months. 18 months, we'll have, 9.4 gigahertz. You just never know. One thing, Ed, that fixes Murphy's Law, and it's just crazy, is to be prepared for it. When I am prepared for Murphy's Law, somehow it never strikes me. Or maybe when it does, I don't notice because I'm already prepared for it. I don't know. I think the important thing is for it not to be your first rodeo. For you to have enough experience with what you're doing that when something goes wrong, you automatically know how to fix it. Thank you, Michael. The voice of reason and sanity in a crazy and wild world. But I remember saying this from the very beginning. You know, people were saying, I want to be able to use this machine, you know, with this camera and this mic, but will it work? Well, do you know how to make all that stuff run the way it's supposed to run? If you do, then it'll work. But if you don't, I remember, quick story. Back in the bad old days of Streaming Idiots, like, you know, year one, back in 2013, 2012 was year one, but it was July of that year when we started. But I can remember my friend Mike Phillips in North Carolina, who and I think we share the same birthday. He was trying to help me understand about audio. And I was struggling with inputs versus outputs. How can an output of audio from a microphone be an input into the PC? How can an output of a microphone be an input into a mixer, which is then sent as an output to a PC as an input? And that was scrambling my head. Oh, golly, it took me the longest time. And then he wanted to teach me about a mix minus. It took me a month to understand the concept of a mix minus. So if you're coming to this stuff with no basic knowledge of how these things work, you know, it's astrophysics, then it could be a steep climb, and things may not work. Or if you can get it, here's my other example. You move to a new town, and somebody gives you street by street directions to get to the grocery store. So you follow their directions and you get to the grocery store. This is before GPS now. Cut me some slack. And if you miss a turn, you can't get to the grocery store anymore. You were used to following that same path. And if you got over here, you don't know where you are and you don't know how to get back to where you want to be. The same thing is in the live streaming world. You know, if you don't know your gear, then sooner or later, you're not going to find your way to the grocery store. I mean, you guys know that. You guys know that. I remember when an i7 2600K that could be overclocked was a screamer. Still using one at my church. Works great. Doing 1080p 60, live streaming to YouTube and Facebook with NDI. Yep. Yep. Good days. Good days. Well, I got to go back to work, guys. It was great hanging out with you. Love hanging out with you. I appreciate your time and your comments, especially because it's the comments that kind of keep me on the path, on the straight and narrow. There you go, Tommy. And what's the best way to learn your equipment? Break it. And then you learn it. That's right. All right, well, guys, I will see y'all next week. Same time, same channel. And we will have a riveting discussion about something. Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate y'all, including Ed. My pleasure, Jasper. Glad you could be here. And how do we get out of this thing? We got to figure out how to get out of this somehow. Glad to have you guys here. Appreciate you. I feel the same way, Ed. May it be your best year ever. And I think it will be. Best wishes, Gunner. Glad to have you. All right. We're going to fade out. We're going to fade to black. Fade to black.